Here at the new Nissan Titan XD launched with a new Cummins 5-liter. Looking at all the components. Now this here is what they're doing for fifth wheel and gooseneck, which is very similar to what everybody else is doing in their 3/4 ton. Now this looks like a Reese, just like the Ford ball. Is that the same component?
It's a little bit different. Ours unlocks from the top and is a round base on it. And you know, this is a Nissan, comes right from the factory. But
right, so it's a factory option, factory warranty.
Yep.
And these pucks too.
Yep, these are these of course are your tie-down chains, mounts, locks in, flips to the side, and you're all set.
So your fifth wheel attaches to these tie-downs also? Like
they will. If you get a closer look under there, there's a 3-point mounting option, and they'll use these mounts, and then you'll get an adapter, and then of course your fifth wheel on top of that.
What is it hooking? Okay, hooks on the ball and these two. Okay.
Yep.
That's why 3-point. I understand that now. Well, good. Do you know what rating you have on the gooseneck now?
The gooseneck and the fifth wheel. These will go up to our 12,000 pounds and over when we start announcing those numbers, the exact figures. Of course, those figures are based upon your configuration of the truck that you have and making sure that you're under the gross axle weight rating and the GVW of the truck that you have.
Two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive and all those
four-wheel
cab
drive,
sizes.
Cab, king cab.
Well, that's awesome. Well, so we're not going to announce those today, the weight ratings, for a while? Or you're selling next month. There's not much time.
Those numbers will be coming out pretty quick. But again, those go by all the configurations. So we're giving the kind of the top end numbers, and then you can see which one for each one of the cab configurations.
Okay, and this is all SAEs, J2807. Okay,
Absolutely.
Good. So you're one of the guys that are doing the right thing. Of course, that with Davis Dam's not too far away.
It's not, and actually one of our engineers, Brian Salazar, is on that crew that's working with SAE to work on that 2807. Has been for years.
Well, that's great. I like that idea. I mean, the consumer can have a little more education and know what to compare apples to apples instead of what we had. So I'm happy for that. Great. Well, let's go see some of the other stuff. Well, Rich, what's this bed cargo system called?
This is the Titan box for inside the bed rail, and what we've done is we've made sure we've looked at other designs. You know, we used to have a bedside storage on
right, I remember that.
Exactly. And so what we've decided to do is we've gotten rid of the bedside storage. We decided to move it inside. A couple key features of this is that, one, it's inside the bed rail. And the key for that, instead of having it built into the side of the bed, is that the guys up in the Northwest and that have toppers on the top can now fully utilize this because they don't have to give up the utility of the bed by doing that. So these doors will still open inside the bed. So if you have a tonneau cover or a topper on it, it still works. It's also removable. So instead of having it built into the bed, removable, the advantage is that if you still want to put mulch, rocks, or anything still in the bed and use the full utility of the bed, you can do that by removing it. Now these are sealed inside, but they have a drain, so you can use them as coolers, fill them with ice. If you want to drain it, you can pull the drain on it and you can drain the ice out of it.
Is that a drain on both ends, or?
Yeah, both sides will have them, and on the it all flows out through one hole in the bottom of these.
It's got automotive latches, I've noticed on there.
It does.
That's good.
And these are key cylindered to your key on your truck.
Oh,
so they will be keyed to that so that you can have them lockable and inside the inside.
Okay, so there's still 4 feet between the fender wells.
That's right. You can still fit a 4x8 sheet in between once everything's done. And right now we have the gooseneck hitch in the truck, but once that all's out, you have a flat floor. You can put your 4x8 sheet of plywood or.
So the safety chain's in the ball. That goes into a pouch or something, or you store that under the seat?
We do have a bag, and we also have underseat storage in the second row, and there's actually a slot for that bag to fit in there, so you can keep those out of the way.
Cool. Well, I like this. Well, you guys were one of the original ones to do cargo management back when this first came out, the Titan. Was that 2003 or 4? I get confused.
We launched in 2003 as an 04 model.
Okay, that's where and I remember the cargo system you had then. It was great. You had propane. Well, you had air compressors and all kinds of things tied into these. And this is nice. I mean, this way you still have that cargo tie down and the inside storage, and you can put your four-wheeler in here and you can tie it down. You have all the things you need to do. I think that's great. You know, Colorado is like you kill somebody behind you with stuff flying out of your truck, it's like a $40 fine. So it's crazy. But I really think cargo management is an important issue for everybody to be safe. But you got them in the floor, you've got them everywhere.
Well, we spent a lot of time in the bed area, and as you mentioned, with the original Titan, we were the first in the industry to have a spray-in bed liner.
Right.
At that time, you had to go to aftermarket to get that done. We also have illumination in the tailgate. We were first in the industry to put illumination in the factory for the tailgate. We also put the channel system in, and we're still the only manufacturer that puts a channel in the floor. The key about having it in the floor is, as you mentioned, you put an ATV in here, you want to compress the suspension of the ATV so that it doesn't hop around.
Didn't you guys were the first ones that have like the torsion spring in the tailgate to close that?
We also have damp tailgate in this so that you can, with one hand operation, which is key when your hands are full, just with the flick of your little finger, you can get the latch to open up and it comes down smoothly, and with your hands full, you can load the truck back up.
Well, didn't you have that in the 04 model?
We did.
I was thinking of the first one to have that. I mean, you guys were great at electronic stability control. You had a lot of firsts back then. It really was remarkable, you know.
We did. Our king cab door was the first wide open king cab door on the truck also.
That. Yeah, you guys had a lot of firsts, and that was a great truck. Now, is this a 6.5 foot bed, or what's this?
This is a 6.5 foot bed with our crew cab model. Yep.
Okay. And the Titan storage containers, lockable with your key. And how many screws to take it out?
It's about 4 to 6 screws to pull this thing out.
Okay.
Yep.
You take out the safety chains and the ball, put them in your special baggie for your greasy balls.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Miller, you're like the big guy for the engineering team. You're in charge of the engineering team for the Titan?
I'm in charge of the product, so everything to do with the product planning, performances setting, the target setting, that's where my position comes into it for the program.
Well, that's good, and you've been here from the beginning. So their first full-size truck was with you, and that's a good way to keep the truck going.
Yeah.
Familiar faces.
Started on it since '99. So.
Well, I remember back in, 99, you're way back there.
Yeah.
You were probably working on Frontiers back in 99.
No, I was working on Frontiers before that. So.
When was the hard body? I loved the hard body. That was before that.
That was my first project, and that was in '95. I was working on the tail end of the what we call the D22 or D21, and then I started on the D22 Frontier, which was the '97 model year that we came out with, and then that went all the way through. I'm sorry, that was '98 model year. '97 was the year we launched it out, and then that went all the way through.
Well, I was a big fan of hard body. I sold my son one back when I was selling trucks, and he had a park next to Tacoma in a hailstorm one time, and the Tacoma was all pimpled up, and the hard body hardly had a mark on it. So that's why I guess they call them hard bodies.
Yeah, there's
enough of that. Now on this truck, I remember when it first came out, you had P-rated tires, passenger tires, and that was all for handling, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to make a real nice riding truck. And you know, I'm in the LT world on the big trucks and the ST on trailers. So the new Titan has LTs?
Well, there's two Titans. So what we were showing you today is the Titan XD, and so that chassis is over 8,500 GVW, and it's got LT tires on it. Now, in a few more months, we're going to be showing you the actual Titan truck, and those two trucks don't share a bolt on the chassis. They're completely different chassis, but the upper body from the cab are the same, but the exterior body is a little bit different. Beds are the same, but the front end's a little bit different. The truck that you see behind me has a diesel engine in it, the Cummins triple nickel in it, and now with that engine, we have a little bit bigger frontal area for the cooling and the intercooler that all goes into the front end. So it'll be a little bit different looking, but we try to get them as close as we can.
Yeah, I noticed that the frame. I remember the first box frame you guys had. It was like leading the industry in that, of course, too. But this one is a taller frame. Looks like it's a thicker frame. I can see the overlaps on the welds. Yep. And I like that. Now, and this has a rear anti-sway bar standard on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I wish the last one did. And I always like that. Of course, you got electronic stability control, which helps a lot with that fishtailing of it.
Well, with this truck, again, we tow over 12,000 pounds, and it's not about pulling 12,000 pounds. You can do that by changing the gear ratio. But this is all about stability, handling. The crosswinds we have today, that's where this truck really shines. And putting in the sway bars in the back, being able to control a larger trailer in this kind of situation is really what we're looking for with the truck and the position.
Well, that's good. A lot of the big heavy duties have kind of gone away from that, the rear anti-sway bar, and I like it. I think truck's empty, handle terrible. You need all the help you can to stabilize it, which is what your electronic stability control did earlier. Mm-hmm. Now this also, I've noticed that all the heavy duty stuff on there, This has a diesel particulate filter. That's the thing. Looks like an atom bomb underneath there. Is that all
Yes.
the hoses?
Yeah, that's all in the after treatment. Yes, yes, it does
Okay.
use DEF fluid, and and that all comes from Cummins. Our engine suppliers also does our after treatment for this truck.
How big is the DEF tank?
DEF tank is 4.5 gallons.
Okay. Okay. That's close to the big boys. What did we figure out? What ply tires these LTs are? Are they 8-ply, 10-ply E's?
They're E's, and
Wow, 10
yeah.
ply and a half ton. That's pretty good.
Well, this is over 8,500 pound GVW, so these are big trucks.
So I gotta stop calling it a half ton.
Yeah, it's a little more than that.
Okay, good. Now, one last question I'm trying to figure out because I need to learn a lot about this engine. Does it have an exhaust brake?
It does not have an exhaust brake, but what you see when you're driving it, when you're in tow haul mode, we do have engine braking with the transmission. And it's something that we're very happy with the way the tuning came out, that as you're coming down the grades, of course you apply the brake lightly and you can get a downshift to try and the car is now sensing by the yaw and other sensors on the vehicle that you're coming down a grade, and it'll start helping you on your engine braking. And the way that the team has tuned it, it's very intuitive, and it actually thinks right ahead of me when I'm driving. So a lot of times you'll see it, I'll apply the brake and it puts just enough engine braking for how comfortable I want to take it down the hill.
Well, that's good. The grade shifting is something I really want to test out because that's a big deal. I'm in the mountains, Colorado.
Absolutely.
We come down these big, still steep grades, and I like to be able to stop before I get
Spend
to.
a lot of time on A70, so we know all about it.
We
So.
should have came by and visit. I would have bought you a beer. But no, that's interesting, and I'll have the Cummins guy explain to me the diesel, the turbos, so I can understand it fully. But is this direct injection?
Yeah, the common rail, he can go through all
Okay,
of that with you.
okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, it sounds interesting. 10-ply tires. So what do we call it? We don't call it half ton. We don't call it heavy duty. We call it just that in between. Or what's a good name for it?
It's the XD.
The XD. Okay. Well, I'm getting old and forgetful. We were just talking about.
The AAM axle.
Yes. Now I remember the original one had a Dana 44 rear
Yeah.
axle.
Yeah.
So now you decided to do the. I guess everybody's going American axle except Ford. So why did you go from Dana to American?
Nothing more particular than when we were looking for this size of an axle for the truck. We again went out to our normal process for looking for vendors, and the AAM axle fit exactly what we were looking for. So we were able to get the size axle that we wanted and the performance from them.
Well, is this a locking axle, electronics, clutch? What?
No, we have an open diff, and then we also have an electronic locking differential that comes in with the Pro 4X model.
Okay, cool. I'm really tickled to see this thing geared down. I remember in the old days it was a number I couldn't figure out. It was really high, and you guys had first brought it down to a 410, and I was trying to calculate all that in my poor head, and now you actually got a low geared ratio.
Yeah, we have a 3.9, again with a different engine and different torque band
Yeah.
with the diesel engine, and we have a different transmission. This has an Aisin 6-speed transmission in it, and it's a very stout transmission. You probably saw when you were underneath it.
Yeah.
And with the gear ratios and that, it fits perfect with the 3.9.
Well, that's good that Aisin, I mean, Toyota owns like half that company. It's in all the big Hino trucks. It's in Ram. So that's a very, if you can't get an Aisin, you got to get that because that's a good transmission. I've actually been pretty happy with it. And that just kind of shows how robust this XD is.
Absolutely. A lot of what we want with this truck is quality first. And so when we went to it, we looked with bigger brakes and bigger axles and bigger transmission, and of course the Cummins engine. Nothing says durability and reliability like a Cummins engine. So when you put that whole powertrain together, it's a great combination to go with the quality that Nissan's used to.
Yeah, so did that make Ram mad using the Cummins and the Aisin transmission like they are? Is there?
I have no idea.
They haven't written you a letter or
I haven't
come
gotten
to
a letter
visit?
from
Okay.
them.
Well, it's cool. It looks good. We're going to have fun today. I like to get towing mirrors. What's the fuel tank size on the XD?
These are 26-gallon tank.
Okay.
On these.
Okay. So you don't have to have an EPA on it because of the weight rating. So
Over
we won't.
8,500. No,
Yeah,
it's
we won't
not
get a
testable with
published
those.
rating. Okay. So we just have to find that out.
Yeah, by real-world testing.
Well, thank you. I'm with the big cheese, the Nissan Titan XD. Now you're Anthony.
I'm Anthony, yep. I'm going to show you how the trailer light check system with one-person operation works.
Okay.
Very cool feature so that you no longer have to have somebody behind the truck helping you out while you check all the lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the lock button twice, and on the second time I'm going to hold it, it's going to go through all the lights. So here's once, twice, and hold. Starts with a horn.
Cool.
Yep, shows you it's working. We're doing the left blinker. It'll actually follow all the way around right now to all the other lights. So you got the left blinker, right blinker, running lights on the truck, and then it's going to end with a horn to let you know that it's checked everything. There it
Cool.
is. Simple as that.
Ready to go. Hey, that's
to go.
awesome. We pull a lot of trailers, and it's always a pain because we have to check lights often.
Beats yelling the people behind
Yeah,
you.
normally we just turn on the hazard lights and turn on the other lights, and everything's flashed and we go. But this is a much better way to do it.
Absolutely.
I like this. People will love it. Another first for Nissan Titan.
You got it.